Welcome to this event, Swastika, Understanding a Symbol of Peace and Prosperity. I'm Chris Davey, Treasurer of the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation of New York, which is a co-sponsor of this event. The Heiwa Foundation creates and supports programs related to peace and reconciliation at the grassroots level so that ordinary people can learn to live peacefully with compassion and love. Many first-time visitors to Japan are alarmed when they see swastika symbols all over the maps and on signage. I can speak with experience from my first trip there. The use of the symbol seemed offensive, and newly arrived, wanting to be culturally sensitive, I had no idea how to politely ask why this icon was being used. Eventually, I learned that the swastika is a religious symbol and that on Japanese maps, it actually indicates the locations of Buddhist temples. This week's programs will help to clarify this. Each of the 3 sessions this week will focus on a different topic. The first, today, will be on the history of the swastika and related symbols. The second, on tomorrow, Thursday at 5 p.m., will focus on understanding the symbolism and usage of the swastika. And the third session on Saturday at 2 p.m. will focus on the misconceptions with an interfaith dialogue. Thank you for joining us. I hope this session will be meaningful to you.
I'd like to introduce Dr. T.K. Nakagaki. Dr. T.K. Nakagaki is a Buddhist priest ordained in the 750-year-old Jodo Shinshu tradition of the Japanese Buddhism. He's a president and founder of the Heiwa Foundation of Peace and Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation of New York. He's an executive officer and former president of the Buddhist Council of New York. Dr. Nakagaki is a Hiroshima Peace Ambassador, Nagasaki Peace Correspondent, and honorable board member of the Interfaith Center of New York and New York City Police Department Clergy Liaison. Since 1994, Dr. Nakagaki has organized an interfaith peace event to commemorate the Hiroshima and Nagasaki atomic bombings. He organized the annual 9/11 World Trade Center Memorial Floating Lantern Ceremony from 2002 and 2011. He's author of the now famous book, The Buddhist Swastika and Hitler's Cross, Rescuing a Symbol of Peace from the Forces of Hate. And he's also the author of various other books.
First of all, I just wanted to thank very much for organizing this program. I think the swastika has been, in the West problematic, but yet it is a very important symbol that we all should recognize. And I just wanted to mention here today, or actually this week, is the World Interfaith Harmony Week by United Nations from the first week of February. And so this is, the important time to talk about, the kind of unity, but yet also there is the harmony that in order to make a harmony, you cannot, put away some people's, it's like a harmony among the friends, but actually, this is a harmony with everyone, all the religions that we're talking about. So we need some more dialogue, especially this particular symbol, swastika. And so that's why we are dealing with this particular program, the particular symbol for today. And, oh, sorry, did I disappear? I'm sorry,
you're back.
wrong button, but so it is actually very important. And before even I started, this is actually the book that he mentioned, Nikunju mentioned before about semi-famous book. And but anyhow, this is the kind of the book I wrote. And so today I will be presented some of the parts of this book, but of course, it's just can't present everything what I would like to share. And especially today we will focus on history part of this book too. But then if you're interested in learning more, you can certainly read it. But then one of the reasons I wrote this book is because we wanted to start a dialogue. And in order to start the dialogue between different religions, we need the kind of information. Without the information and then also correct or accurate information, it is very difficult to begin even the dialogue. So actually, after I finished this book, it was finished in 2012, because this was created as a result of dissertation of New York Theological Seminary. I was in a multi-faith study for doctoral ministry program. And so the theme that I chose was this particular theme of swastika. And I think I'm going to start with that because it is all connected, what I would like to talk about today, because in the or maybe I can go to the screen first, sharing the screen, and so you can take a look at it also, some of the photos that I would like to share. And, but let me also, sorry, go to the sharing parts now. Okay, I hope this is, okay. Oh, so yeah, this is a book that I just mentioned. It's a Buddhist swastika and Hitler's cross and rescuing the symbol of peace from the force of hate. And so this written by myself. So that's one of the reasons I'm here to standing and sharing with you. Well, actually sitting in my sense. Then, so I wanted to, oops. Oh, okay. Talk about, so this is a background. So the chair, Kunji already introduced me, so I'll just do not talking about this. But then first of all, the image that we have in this country is, or, West or the Europe is this particular symbol of the swastika, but they call it swastika, but yet it is Hakenkreuz by the words of the Hitler or Nazi Germany. It's a German language. And Hitler himself didn't actually want to call it swastika because swastika is a Sanskrit term. It's an Indian language. He didn't want to bring the Indian language during the World War II. He wanted to use their own language, and he called it Hakenkreuz, hooked cross as a Christian cross actually. So he tried to bring Catholic and Protestant together under this old but new cross. And so that's one part that we wanted to talk about. And of course, my image was the Eastern tradition. We do have a different old, swastika. This is a Sanskrit term, swastika, and it came actually for myself as a Buddhist priest. And so for the Buddhist, so we always use this symbol as more like the Buddha himself. And so as I don't know, you can see the castle, what I write like this. And so the part of the Buddha, the chest of the Buddha has those swastika. And then in Japanese, we call it manji. And so, there's many parts of the temple, if you go, so all those things are seen. So that's kind of the image that I have. And even this is ancient one, or it's more like 2nd century or so. It's from Afghanistan. Oh, sorry. Every time I use my castle, I just move it. And then if you go to the Kyoto and so forth, you always see this kind of things too. And so those, for me, that's the image that I grew up with. And so that's why, but I just put some more other symbol, which I'm going to talk about later. So maybe I can come back. But some of the Hindu symbols, or even like an ancient Mohenjo-daro, was a very old symbol was existed. And then they called swastika at that time, Hindu symbols, and then Jainism also. So they use this particular symbol. So you can tell this symbol has been in Asia for a long, long time, much, much longer than the so-called, the Hakenkreuz by Hitler. And so today, what I would like to share is some of the pictures, and then I hope you feel the history behind. And this particular symbol, we are talking about, thousands of years. Buddhism itself started, of course, 2,500 years ago. but then the symbol definitely was used like over 2,000 years. India, and then also when it comes to the other country, China, Korea, Japan, Vietnam, and Thai or Sri Lanka, and all those South Asian country too. So this symbol has been spreaded all over the place, and so this has been a very, very important symbol for all the Dharmic tradition, like Hindu, as I say, Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, and those. So this is actually interfaith symbol among us. And so anyway, so one thing that big difference is probably for Eastern, at least myself, for Japanese people, there are two different items. Those two are, meaning to differentiate the terms, two different terms that are used. And then the West, two are just combined and one as a swastika, right? So for me, the Japanese people, this is so-called manji, and this is what you call it. This symbol means like auspiciousness, good, very well-being, good luck symbol, and so represent the Buddha's mind. I didn't write all of them, but there are many other side of the swastika has most what you call sacred and represent the enlightenment itself. And so sometimes from the light, it spread all the light, the teachings, and transform all people. And then today, Venerable Rifa mentioned one part of it. And tomorrow we do discuss more about the scripture. So at that time, we're going to discuss how this particular swastika words are used. Like, oh, I don't know why my background changed to Jain now, but I didn't realize it. Oh, the other part of it. Sorry, I don't know. Maybe I'll prepare for the Bawa to join us. And I don't know how I can go back and forth to change my background, but somehow I changed it. So the other side of in Japan, Japanese people know Hitler's cross as a Hakenkreuz. So it's a totally different symbol. It's not, it's manji is a swastika. Man means 1,000, or the many virtues or blessings. So that's why manji in Japanese. And the Hakenkreuz or kreuz is the in Japanese we call it Hakenkreuz, a little bit more Japanese pronunciation, which is a Hitler's symbol by Nazi Germany. Those two are very different things, and so we never confuse those two. And today we just talk about a little bit starting from the Western, since we are doing this one here in the United States. So I thought it would be good to know what's the kind of history of the United States, how this symbol has been seen. I'm talking about swastika symbol itself. And this is one of the map created by Thomas Wilson. So he actually wrote the book called Swastika, the earliest known symbol, and it's Migrations. That's the title of the book, and which was published 1894. So which is before the Nazi Germany, before World War II. So at that time, actually, he got the money from Smithsonian, and he traveled all around the world to get this particular symbol. The reason is actually this symbol became very well known at that time because of I'm going to talk about later, Schriemann's excavation, and then from the Troy. And when he did the Troy excavation, then there's a lot of a symbol of the swastika came up. And then he doesn't know what this symbol is. So, that's where this particular things started. So so anyway, you will see here's India, and although it's only one, but it's just a Chinese or the Tibet. This is the Tibet area, and that's the China or South Asian country, so-called, and here is Japan, and this is Native Americans. Actually, this Y that's there the Native Americans, and some of the Europe. Actually, this may be some of the cross. Also, this one was ancient cross, and so it's not new, old but new at that time in Hitler. So that's why. And then there's some African culture, they have used the swastika too. So you'll see, recognize some of the parts of the swastika actually all over the world at that time. So this is definitely one of the multi-faith symbol. Okay, so I just want you to see this one. So maybe this might be easier, so I thought I just put it. I mean, because the map itself is so complicated, and so this is another map. I just put it. We just put it in the kind of a way that you see. Sorry. So it's all over the world. Now, so which means this symbol, as I summarize what you see on the map is like this. So actually, this is a Jewish synagogue. I mean, all ancient synagogue, like Jewish, those two are there too. And it's like a third century or so. And this is, of course, definitely that's a Christian, right? From the Ethiopia, actually, this one. And so there's a part of the symbol on the saint. So, and then there's a Christian church too. So it's Europe. And this is from, what do you call it? Istanbul. So that the mosque there too. And so this is a Ghana things from Africa. And this is from India, but Akiba's what do you call it, tomb. And so some of these patterns also Islamic people use. And this is actually, I put this one on a New York subway, if you know where this one is. But anyway, this is actually the Poland, because at that time, when the Nazis, Germany, that Poland is gone, but actually because, right, and then they put all the concentration camp or Germany, for the like Auschwitz and all those areas. But then this is actually one of the ancient symbol of the Poland before the Christianity. So those are something that I thought would be good to show you. And then this is, of course, Native Americans have been using a lot of swastika symbol. And then the also Native American symbol usage is gone before the history, written history. And so these are some of the, and then maybe since I talk about here, I would just mention also some of the symbols. These are recent one after those discoveries. So the swastika become sort of like well known, the good luck symbol in the after 19th century. So the like this kind of symbol, this swastika consists of two L's. So that's why one L stands for light, and then the other light L stands for life, and then the other stands for love, and it stands for good luck. So it's an all positive symbol, which is when the symbol spread. And even the Coca-Cola, that I just put it there in case if you need. So this Japanese American, in the United States, they used to use the swastika as a symbol. So it's not just that's before the war, of course, before the World War II. So like those, one of the things that I wanted to show you, and so you see those things. And then the one going back to the introduction to the West. So recent one, especially 18th century, 19th century, that's the Henry Schriemann, German businessman. And and an archaeologist discovered many swastika motifs when excavating the ruins of the Troy in the 19th century. And Schriemann, and then concluded after consulting with the two leading Sanskrit scholars like Emily Burnoff and Max Muller, and that the swastika was a Proto-Indo-European symbol. So in a way, that symbol became the unite between East and West too at that time. And so these exciting archaeological findings gained much international attention and put the swastika in the spotlight as the exceedingly significant religious symbol of our ancient ancestors. And so this attention led to the popularization in the early 20th century of the swastika as a worldwide symbol of good luck. And then I think this is a very important key part of the history in the West to know. And so the, all those things, not just, the Hitler, because sometimes people say, oh, Hitler created this particular symbol. Or maybe I should, well, since I changed the page somehow, so maybe I should mention also that maybe towards the 20th century, that stream is continue. And so here I just show some of the example. In Denmark, the first parts of the 20th century, Danish brewery Carlsberg, I don't know how you pronounce well, sorry, but used the swastika as its logo, and one of the elephant statue of the bureau's gate. So this is parts what I'm talking about, first picture. And the swastika laundry in Dublin, and so this is it. That's an island, and so this is used as this swastika symbol was used as a logo for its establishment of 1912. And then also swastika were also used in signature of Finland Air Force, like 1918. So there are some of the more things used. More swastika was used. I believe the swastika town of Swastika in New York State will be having some guests coming on Saturday, but he represent the swastika particular things, and that's why they keep the name as important to keep. Keep their name even now. So I think it's important understanding that we should. Anyway, so that's part of the the European parts that we need to know, and so I just wanted to show some of the example. How much of this symbol I just listed when you said people in Europe, they especially a lot of Christian people welcome this symbol also. So this is a cross symbol, by the way. Different kind of different type of cross symbol that I'm listing here as a different shape of the cross, right? And then so actually swastika has been recognized as one of the cross too. And anyway, like William Parker's, but he wrote the swastika as prophetic symbol when the swastika became popular, and that's 1907. So before the World War II, before the Hitler. Okay, so that's important, and so significance of the swastika is to be accounted for as a great fact or truth, divinely communicated in the earliest time as a prophetic of the coming of the Agnus Dei, the light of the world, and savor of mankind. And every swastika conceals the signs of cross. And as the book of the Bibles are prophetic of coming of our Lord, so this symbol is prophetic of the coming of the founder of the Christianity. And it is one of the great religious symbols of the world. It has been revealed all over Europe and Asia. So it is one of the oldest thing in history, and there is a scary land in scarcely a land in whose ruins temples it is not found. So anyway, so that way, how much these symbols are used. And anyway, when they say even Hitler's cross or Hakenkreuz cross, right, German cross, you don't see any other cross than the swastika too here. So it is a cross, and then the cross related to, as you can imagine, anti-Semitism. So which we will talk about probably tomorrow for the words of the Aryan, hopefully. And this is the iron cross too. And so anyway, so some of the names that we are talking about. I don't see the time, but what time is it now? But still okay, right? I can, or did I overtime already?
Yes, yeah, you're okay.
Still okay, okay. And then so now I just, since I'm talking about a little bit here for the swastika, for the, how much he should, the, well, maybe one of the example, how the Hitler see the symbol and how much he even know it is a symbol of India, Japan. And so, which means he didn't really created this symbol. He simply used it, or the misuse this symbol for his own purpose. So that's why this quote is, I think, is very important from that sense. And so I just wanted to share. Also, this is actually the book is from this. There's a book collected, the Hitler's speech, and this is a speech made by Hitler in the August 1920. And so that was the first time the symbol of the swastika is ever used, in front of people, in front of the people. And so at that time, one of the speech, the beginning part, we're talking about a lot of anti-Semitism actually, but yet after you go through, then he mentioned about this swastika come from the, I mean, he really know what the symbol means. So we know that all these northern people, are we talking about the, Asian or the Tibet or that area, had one symbol in common, the symbol of the sun, which is a swastika. They created the cult of light, and they created the symbols of tools for making fire and drill and cross. So you will find this cross as a Hakenkreuz as far as India and Japan, curved in the temple pillars. It is Hakenkreuz, which was once a sign of established communities of Aryan culture. And then Aryan culture in this is also something that we need to discuss, but maybe I don't have time to discuss at this point. But it is a very important part of this discussion, because Aryan itself originally is meaning noble. Like in Buddhism, we call Four Noble Truth, Aryan, Satya. So Aryan is a noble thing. So the killing people is not noble at all anyway, you can think of. And so we talk about compassion. The Aryan is one of the most important words for the people practice the compassion, or people practice the peace on the world. Okay, so I just wanted to continue for the next parts, which is the sorry, somehow it doesn't move. Oh, okay. One thing I just wanted, because I started to talk about the symbol Buddhism, Buddhism started. So I thought maybe I can go to the, Eastern symbol, history of the Eastern symbol a little bit more. I know, I mean, this is a very, very short version of the history, by the way. So, I'm sure that I have skipped a lot of parts of it, but yet I hope you get some kind of understanding what happened to this particular symbol and how Hitler was used and then misused. And then in the end, it was ended with the like a Holocaust idea, but the anti-Semitism idea is coming with the wrong understanding of Aryan words, Aryan as the white supremacy or the supremacy type of way. It create a lot of problems. So maybe I just stop there, and you can think of why this good symbol sort of how become the evil eyes after especially after the World War II, and why this symbol has the meaning to even, kill people. So I mean, those are one thing that maybe we need to have a more deep understanding of it. And then what does that mean? Anti-Semitism also, or it's also connected to the idea of crusade, Christian crusade happening in a history, and under the name of God, right? And sometimes the religion I used, or actually religious people also maybe even believe sometimes, my religion is the best, and then other religion people who don't follow us, is they should be killed with compassion sometimes. I mean, that was very cool, but yet there is this history like that too. And then, but anyway, so there's many things that we can think about this, what's going on here, So, but I'll just leave up until this point, and then going to the eastern part of the understanding. Well, first I just start mentioning a little bit of Hinduism. So I just want you to understand, like while Jain and Buddhists have used the swastika symbol for more than 2,000 years, Hindus, possibly the oldest religious community in the East, has been used swastika for more than 3,000 years, or maybe possibly 3,000 or 5,000 years or more. As I said, the Nikunju also share with me like much longer. So there's some of the evidence, but so anyway, I hope you can share later on. And so like excavation site in Harappa or Mohenjo-daro in the Indus Valley reveal seals of the swastika, which I showed before. So it's dating back to 2500 BC anyway, for this one we're talking about. And so like even like a Jainism, so Jainism is about the same age as a Buddhism. So it's only not much of a difference the same time the Buddhists appear, so 2,500 years ago. And then later, so they start using those symbols. And so the one symbol that I showed before was this on the top. So this the symbol of the Jain, and has swastika here, and then the non-violence here. Here now, I think they use a Om or something because they cannot use the swastika in the West. So that's why they changed to use the Om symbol instead of a swastika symbol. But originally, that should be the swastika symbol, actually. So the comprehensive, the Jain symbol consists of crescent of the moon, the three dots, and the swastika or Om, the palm of hand with the wheel chakra inset, and an online figure encompassing all symbols. Each individual symbol is also used in Jainism. So swastika in Jainism means auspiciousness, as it does the Hindus as well as Buddhist. So there's another symbol. But also, like I mentioned about Judaism, and so the Judaism, since I wanted to go back again here too. So so based upon the Universal Jewish Encyclopedia, swastika appears on the various articles excavated in Palestine, on ancient synagogue in Galilee and Syria, or on the Jewish catacombs at the Villa Torlonia in Rome. So like that. And then the swastika was also found at the ancient synagogues of Capernaum, or discovered 1838, and then so which is in Gedi, I guess, discovered in 1965. Mao's discovery 1974. But also interesting part is that all those, when they found recently, their comment is always very negative. I don't know why the swastika is in this, ancient sacred place. So like a mistake was made, but it's not mistakes, because swastika has been the good symbol, even for the Jewish people, before. Okay, so, and then going to the Christian symbol, maybe I should point out again, so you can see, well, these are the symbol of Jewish that we're talking about, in particular from the ancient synagogue. Okay. And now the Christianity, I hope you remember. So although the many accept the crucifix cross as a central religious symbol of the Christianity, it has not formally adopted by the church until 6th century. And so of the many forms of the cross, the swastika is the most ancient, one of the most ancient ones. And then swastika appears frequently as early as the 1st and 2nd century as a symbol of catacombs, signifying Christ as the power of the world. So, like some of there's a definition in the center of the swastika is a, what do you call it, Christ, and then all those four, what do you call it, for those masters or disciples of the Christ, those four legs. So like some explanation like that is up here. And for the Islamic tradition, it seems like it's kind of, we don't know what's exactly what they means actually for them, but it's not as important as many major part of the, I guess, their religious symbol, but yet the swastika has been used. So maybe I'll just read it from here. But by the way, I just quote this one from my book, so that's why I thought it might be easier for you to understand what's going on. The swastika patterns are found in mosque architecture around the world, though their use is not as prevalent in Islam as other religions. And symbol does not appear to have importance in modern Islam, and it is not well known among scholars what significance of the symbol was in early Islam. And Zoroastrianism, is also something, maybe we'll talk about. Maybe Zoroastrian religion, ancient Persia, the swastika represented the revolving sun, the source of life-giving fire and infinite creativity. Some scholars believe that Zoroastrianism, pre-Christian monotheistic religion, heavily influenced the development of Judaism, which is in turn influenced Christianity and Islam. So anyway, so Zoroastrianism is also one thing. And then one thing I show was also Ghana. It was a gold weight in the 13th century. I didn't put the Zoroastrian, sorry. But anyway, so those are some, what do you call it, Islam parts of it. Yeah, okay. And then I didn't mention Native Americans, which I forgot to put it up at this point. But anyway, I thought I was going to talk about the separately somehow. I was trying to, but so Native Americans, especially like Navajo and Hopi Indians, and they all some have a very common this symbol. And then during World War II, they actually claimed that they decide, since the Germany used it, their sacred symbol, but since they're not happy with it, so that's why they actually decide to kind of make burned all the swastika thing what they have. So now the World War II is over, and so I guess they should be able to claim in their case, that's a reclaim because they gave up once, but then because of the war, so probably they should be able to reclaim about the swastika. But in terms of Asia, we're not reclaiming. We're just saying that that will be part of our culture, so it should be recognized because it never be disappear from the Asian country. And as if some of the American people or European people think that this symbol is gone somewhere, because even like an interface this week, one of the symbol you never see is a swastika, even though that's existing in this world, but then somehow they don't want it to see, as if the swastika is all gone. But it's a kind of a elusive the image that somehow the other religious community created also. So anyway, just wanted to point it out.
Yep. So Dr. Nakagaki, we have 1 minute left.
Oh, okay, 1 minute left. All right. So anyhow, it is in this is a photo of the universe that I just brought it. Universe, or so it's the that's a NASA picture of the things, but so the swastika itself is like this patterns of the symbol, so which is like symbol of the sun, but the symbol of the universe in a way. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. So I think it's time to recognize and time to have at least a dialogue. It's not all of a sudden that we're going to just change everything, but rather it's probably the learning process. It may take time, but yet we need to start somewhere. And then I think it's a good time. Is the time to begin also. And so thank you very much for your attention. And I hope I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we will really focusing on the usage of the language. Linguistic problem, especially translation problem also. So thank you again. So I see you.
Thank you, Dr. Nakagaki. That was wonderful. So 2 things quickly. One is we have Sri Vawa Jainji, who's going to be closing us out today, but we also have some questions. So maybe what we do is we first ask a couple of questions. Maybe we have a few minutes, Dr. Nakagaki, and then we can go into the closing aspect.
Oh, okay. So yeah, at least
Right.
I'm glad Bawa-san is here. Thank you so much.
Okay, a couple of questions. First one is, someone had asked, according to a friend of mine who lives in Germany, people there understand the difference between Hakenkreuz and swastika and view them differently, as it should be the case. Is that really true? And if so, can we somehow use that information to help educate people in places like US?
Yeah, I'm not too sure whether that, because I've never lived in Germany. I know I visited when I go to this particular project, but when I went to Germany, there's no place I've seen any explanation of the swastika as an Asian symbol. Meaning, because before I do this research, I wanted to know how I feel if I go to Germany, or also like Auschwitz and all those the camp concentration camp, and then see how things how did I react to it. And then because this is a project not to harm other people, I mean, meaning because by doing this one, if I bring more harming or more the what do you call it, bad feeling towards the Jewish people or those other people who are killed by the Nazi Germany. But then my feeling was actually that I see the swastika is also buried under the ground by the Nazi Germany. So that's why I feel like this is very important to bring the swastika back. And my hopeful feeling is by the swastika back to light, there may be other people who are in a condemned in that darkness can also liberate it from one sense for us in a spiritually maybe.
Yeah, and based on the discussion we were having earlier, Dr. Nakagaki, based on the research that we have done on our side on Kona, one thing that we realized that swastika is not a German word, of course, but at the same time, there are many words in German language that end with Kreuz. So there's Balkenkreuz, Ritterkreuz,
Yeah,
Hakenkreuz, all these different words. So a native German speaker, Christenkreuz, Christuskreuz, like all these different words that are connected to the cross. So somebody who is German, especially during that time, would be very well aware that Hakenkreuz is nothing to do with swastika. Hakenkreuz means the hooked cross as is looked upon in Christianity, right? So Germans at that time knew where Hitler's inspiration came from. His inspiration was his Christian connection, as we talked earlier, based on his upbringing and everything like that. And he wanted to unite the two streams, the Protestant and the Catholic, traditions, and make them into one kind of German Christianity. So that's where he kind of associated. So I think people who understand German can say, hey, what is Ritterkreuz? What are the Balkenkreuz? All these different words, which actually are connected to the cross. So
yeah, but what about the other European country? I'm not sure. I mean, in German
actually,
people, probably it is.
In Finland, they have a word called Hakkaristi. And again, I can't speak Finnish, but Hakkaristi actually means hooked cross.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the president's flag. The president of Finland's flag has a Hakkaristi, which is the hooked cross today, even today.
The same one that I showed to you. Because I don't know how much I'm going to talk about the language issues today, because I'm going to talk about language tomorrow. So I'm going to bring all the different translation of the swastika and also the Hakenkreuz as well. So maybe that might be a question that we have to keep for the maybe tomorrow.
Yes,
I think.
So the second question was, is the symbol basically why there are different directions, right? So sometimes you see the Hindu style is this way, like you see in my background. The Buddhist style is the one you see in the temple you have. So there are like sort of opposite sides, sometimes like 45, like left side versus right side and things like that. Why is that the case?
Yeah, by the way, I have to point out to you, your background is a reverse. So actually,
some reason it's reversed. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I don't know, because all myself is reversed too. So
yes,
like a mirror image.
I know.
But then actually, that's more like the Buddhist symbol nowadays. But especially originally the Buddhist symbol is also more like a right turn. Actually, because most of the sutra is talking about right turn, so which is like a Hindu, same as the that particular symbol. But yet the one of the reasons, I mean, even the one swastika that I have in my background, here, this is actually the Zenkosi Temple. This is the oldest Japanese Buddhist temple. I mean, considers the oldest Japanese temple in Japan. And so that particular temple has a lot of swastika, as a part of it. But then the one of the reasons that they said in China, one time when the swastika moved towards the Chinese culture, they both have the same meaning, as a light anyway. So it doesn't change any meaning much. Both are good meaning. It's not one is the evil side and the other is, not like that. But it's just, but the front or back, both are same swastika and a good symbol. And then when you do the calligraphy, Chinese characters, because this one is one of the Chinese character. So if you write it, this is not just the symbol itself, but then symbol is especially Chinese characters, a lot of them are pictorial. And so this symbol, the swastika, is one of the character now, actually. When you write the swastika, somehow it's easier to write this way than the other way around. So
even the Tantra tradition, which is connected, the Hindu Tantra tradition and the Buddhist Tantra traditions are very connected. So in the Tantra tradition, they actually also use the flip side, which is also very interesting. So that doesn't, like you said, it doesn't mean evil. It's just a different way of looking at the same symbol in the same tradition, just a different stream of the tradition. So in the Tantra traditions, I've seen it flip the other way too. So both, even in the non-Tantra traditions in the Hindu text, we have seen it both ways. Sometimes on the doorways, they'll make it both ways. They'll make it one this way and then the flip way as well.
I understand also the Hindu sometimes consider one side of the swastika. I mean, right turn is considered as like a sun symbol.
Yes.
And then the other one is represent like a moon symbol. So the like sun and moon both are light to bring to the our world either daytime or nighttime. So maybe that's what part of it too.
Great. Okay, and we'll take one last question. Let's see. Again, it's a similar question. Since Germany's appropriation of swastika is closely related to the wrong interpretation of history during colonial times, Indian history, which is now considered mainstream. Unfortunately, the racist colonial narrative, and we'll talk about the word Aryan tomorrow also, has become a mainstream one. What can we do to dissociate this Western misconception from the Eastern philosophy? What else can we do to dissociate?
Yeah, because this is also I'm consider this dialogue is very important as bringing the idea of the East. Because the Eastern idea is that it's not that justice. One is good and evil more like, but both are actually have a lot of. I mean, human beings has a lot of good and bad and everything mixture with it. So how we recognize it is so in a way like even like in the United States, they simply recognize both sides. I mean, like if the Germany can do it, and then I mean Japan and other Asian countries clearly do those things, and then so we never call the Buddhist symbol as evil or this the Hindu symbol as evil or anything like that at all. And so why the other country, and then but then at the same time, of course, we just don't call the the evil symbol, but they just call it as a Nazi Germany symbol for this particular the other way turning around. So it's not a good and evil. We're just talking about that's where how the culturally developed, and then so it's like a recognition, and then also instead of pushing one view, this has to be evil, and then just stop other way. Whatever you say, it's no. I mean that itself is a problem, and that is the way that Hitler did too about the symbol using it. So that this part is a very, very important arguments in the East and West. And Eastern is the way that we really respect all the different cultures. So that's why even we said this is a good symbol, it doesn't mean we disrespect what happened to the Holocaust, right? And we always be compassionate or be respect to all lives. And so from that sense, because Hitler used this symbol as an evil or something, evil intention, but it doesn't mean that that this is an evil symbol at all. So I mean, from my sense, so it's those dialogue is very necessary to understand, and so hopefully we will be recognized, each other's very valuable, the symbol. I mean, this is actually one of the oldest and also the widely used symbol in a human history. And then we just try to not recognize this symbol itself. That's a wrong thing to do. So we should, either West or East or any other, the Africa, wherever. I mean, this symbol should be recognized as a kind of long history, and then the human, in a way, it's a human treasure in a way, So that's what I feel. And then the interface also. So this is one of the reasons that I wanted to bring this particular topic for the Interfaith Harmony Week. Interfaith Harmony Week means also we have a discussion and a dialogue, and then try to understand each other. It's not just the one view is good and the other is bad, something like that. So this is a particularly important conversation that we are having, I believe.
Yeah,
so,
just like the hooked cross and the burning cross and the Christian cross, there's the sacred cross, right? We know the difference between the sacred cross, which is sacred to Christians, and the burning cross, which is used as a symbol of hatred. So just like how we denounce the burning cross, but we hold, the Christians hold the cross sacred in their tradition, we should be honoring that. So similarly, we have to look at the Hakenkreuz versus the swastika. Swastika is noble, pure, prosperity, well-being, all that stuff. And then the Hakenkreuz is a symbol of death and destruction, which should be condemned. So if we're going to use those words, we should be using the right word. So I agree with you on that.
So actually, tomorrow I think we're going to talk about the Aryan too, because that particular Aryan understanding of Aryan makes a big difference of the things that, because Aryan, I mean, the way of Aryan represented by the swastika, I mean, that's the kind of logic, but yet Aryan in the meaning of the India is noble. So noble, most noble thing is, action, everything is revealed by the swastika. So, but then if the Aryan itself is considered a white supremacy type of thing, then it just change everything, the all wrong meaning. So I think it's, we're going to discuss the language, especially tomorrow for detail. And then that Aryan itself bring the anti-Semitism idea, or also connected. And then also that's also connected to the idea of swastika, or the Hakenkreuz is contained the cross, which is a crusade cross, which related to the anti-Semitism. But as far as on the other hand, the Eastern swastika has nothing to do with the cross, so which means nothing to do with the anti-Semitism or like killing and all those things. So that's why it is a totally different nature of the symbols. So I think we should be, people should understand that too.
Well, thank you for that. So that will be the end of our Q&A session.